Welcome to Paintover Monday. What do we do here? I take your doodles from the Discord channel called Valhalla of Artists, and then I paint over them. Sometimes they turn better, sometimes worse. We'll see how this one will turn out. And this one is from Samandaira. I'm not sure if I pronounce this person's name right. And this person writes, "Thank you, Misha, for the opportunity to get an overpaint." You're welcome. It's one of my old ones. I still don't know how to make it better. Only I see that is boring. I wanted to show how this little mouse coming home after his first day at school and meeting his family. All right, it's pretty wholesome and cool little frame. Let me.
No Vikings.
All right, right, right. No Vikings. I'm not gonna paint a Viking in there. Number one. First of all, great colors, great character design. A lot of good things I can see in here, especially the foliage in the tree, and then there's some depth. Overall, like from value standpoint, this is a pretty nice image. I like it. In terms of colors, the accents are where they needed. My main concern is framing, because when you are doing any image in general, you have to fight for the real estate in your painting. Okay, I would just go the easy route, right? And I would just go and just crop the whole thing, right? Because and I would maybe crop it something like this. Because again, it's all about the story, and our camera, how close or how far away it is, tells that story. And right now the story tells me this. Beautiful hills, tree, and someone is talking far away. I can't really hear what they're saying, right? The camera is like human beings. So for example, if you want to go talk to somebody, you're not going to stand across the street and then talk to them, right? You're going to come closer to them so you can see them. I don't know, but still it's a little bit too far away. So let's bring them closer. Let's then bring them closer right here. And you know what? I'm going to take your rocks and bring them into the foreground for more depth. Those are amazingly painted rocks, right? And maybe I'll bring him like this, so we have a little bit more depth in the shot. Oh, I like this much more. But now let's think about the lighting. The rocks, the grass, the blues over here. There's a lot of things that slightly distract us from the focal point. And when you have, it's not very, it's not flat lighting that I would say. This is pretty good lighting, but when you have big forms or big planes like this, and you try to do a little bit of color vibrancy in here to make it less boring, right? But still, it's a bunch of warm colors, and then they're warm, right? And then we have saturated green, and it's starting to compete a little bit. And saturated colors only look best next to desaturated colors, right? That's what makes them pop. So what we can do is, and I use this trick a lot, especially when I'm color scripting and I need to bring attention back to my focal point, is I can do some interesting cloud shadows. So I would put this into the shadow. I would put this into the shadow a little bit more, maybe have some cast light from the tree, cast shadow over here from the tree. I would make the rock behind them also a little bit darker. So this way we can get, I know it gets a little bit too dark, but I'll fix it a little bit later. What we're doing, or trying to do right now, is we're trying to break up the boring part about just, just the orange rock, by incorporating the lighting scenario from the environment that you already established. Another thing that I would do is I would probably do a cloud shadow maybe over those rocks too. But now there's a little problem. It's kind of, the image is getting a little bit too dark for my taste. And I know what we can do. And we lost a little bit of that depth that you had in the beginning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push this tree into the background a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Like that, maybe? Question mark. Again, with images, you never know what works until you try. So maybe we'll get this a little bit forward, so it's kind of like the closer it gets, less into the atmosphere it goes. Something like this maybe. But there's still something missing. I'm trying to figure out what it is. The simple read is, and this is how you can, yeah. See when I turn the values in. Let's see if they're present with yours. Yeah. See, you are pulling the focal point of the fox with its saturation, but value-wise, the fox disappears when you turn it to black and white, right? And I have the same problem here a little bit. I'm gonna make a very dark pocket of negative space for this rock just to test this idea out. And while I do this, I always ask myself a question. Where am I going with this painting? What's the story? What's the simple statement? And the simple statement is the interaction between mom and the fox, right? So everything that I do right now is about this. So I am trying to get people's attention into this little circle right here, and everything else has to support that, right? So boom, 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 boom. Let's see. So first of all, they're backlit, so maybe this local color is gonna get even brighter. An interesting thing about the lighting on characters is that so imagine that this color ball is our characters, right? This is our shadow side. This is our light side. So when light hits the local color of this ball, it becomes brighter and less saturated and gets more saturated in the shadows. You know, to set dress this a little bit, maybe, maybe like add a little, maybe to have another leading line thing, maybe add a line that, has, I'm not sure if they wear clothes, maybe it has like t-shirts hanging on the line right here, right? Or maybe there's gonna be like blankets and I don't know, underwear. um Could be anything. I'm just looking for more variety because this way, so see, like I just loosely added this in, but it adds so much story to it that it's actually a place that was inhabited by somebody, right? You know what could be really sweet? So we can add even a little more story. And he's like, here's a little flower, Mom, because I love you. Right? And you know what? To make the scene a little bit more alive, I said I was gonna do it, but let's pop the rocks a little bit more. So the sun is like, oh yeah, look at this, Ben. Say hi. Yeah, the sun is really shiny now. And let's maybe add a butterfly. You know what? Butterflies are good. Just kind of like butterflies roaming around. Just happy little tree. And maybe over here we could have a couple of birds sitting or something. Right? All right. So let's compare the before and after. Right? Your image is great. The reason why I could do such a fast paint over is because all the local colors were there, all the temperatures were there, values were almost correct, and I just went ahead and did it, right? The number one, not mistake, but little hiccup that you had is the framing was wrong because it was not about the story. It's about your camera was too far away. We need to be more intimate with them. We didn't go too close. We're still kind of, over there observing from behind those rocks. So what I added into there, I added more neutral colors and more variety. And because there's more variety now, the saturated, the saturated, first of all, I make it a little bit darker. But see the difference, for example, in your foreground and my foreground over here. It's neutral colors. And when I have those neutral colors, even though I have some brights over there, and then we have the tree over here, but because we have so many neutrals now, the saturated colors, they pop a little bit better. Why? Well, because saturated colors starts to sing when the neutral colors are around them, right? And then in your scene, when you had too many saturation all over, it looked correct from value standpoint and everything else, but they got a little bit lost. And what we did is we added a little bit of neutral colors, and now everything works much, much, much better. We pay attention right where the viewer needs to be, which is right in this area. So introduce some neutrals when you paint, so your characters actually can pop. And again, think about actual environment that you're painting. What can populate it? Like insects, birds, maybe there could be clouds. You have to be in there. You're not painting. You're not painting an illustration. You're making a window that you can walk into. A great artist, he or a good artist has he opens a little peephole that you can look into another world. A good one can open a window, and a great one can he can open the door and then walk through it. Okay, and that's our responsibility as artists, is to try to imagine the moment and then make everything work in there. But yeah, thank you for your submission. Hopefully this helps. Yeah, hope you guys like this little video. If you want to have your own little work to be painted over, just submit it in probably the link is probably gonna be somewhere 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 in the description. And yeah, hope you liked it. That's it.